Chewing tobacco has long been synonymous with baseball, dating all the way back to the game's inception in 1846. Despite increasing knowledge of health risks associated with chewing tobacco, its popularity has persevered. Fast forward to 2008, two eager young players and entrepreneurs from Cal Poly present a business proposition to a panel of judges: modern-day tobacco-less chew. Dip without the cancer, a way to keep the baseball culture alive without the health consequences.
We were back in college at school, and Pat and I were, I guess you could say, procrastinating on a project that was due the next morning. So there was a heat wave that was in town, and the only thing that we had in the cupboards was coffee grinds. And so, we didn't want to make a fresh, hot cup of coffee because it was so hot outside. So we just said, being baseball players or former baseball players, we decided, well, why not just take the coffee grinds and put it in your mouth. And so we ended up working on the project, and after 20-30 minutes, we kind of get that energy buzz or kick that we had thought would happen. And we kind of looked up at each other and kind of smiled and said, well, shoot, maybe this is something here. Of course, when we smiled, we had all the coffee grounds all over our mouth.
Patrick Pizzette and Matthew Canepa are Northern California natives from Petaluma and Danville, respectively. Growing up playing the game, both were immersed in baseball culture at a very young age.
I saw it all throughout high school and definitely in college. And I think you kind of it's always around the game, and it's not until you really know what it is that you start to realize like how many people are actually using it. For some guys, it's like they do it, it's just a habit. It's like drinking a bottle of water or eating food. It's like I played with guys in summer leagues who would wake up in the morning and before even brushing their teeth, they'd throw in a chew and then start brushing their teeth. It's like they're so addicted, and it's such an addicting habit.
Matt headed to the minor leagues for a couple of years, and even though tobacco is officially banned, it's still used by players and umpires.
It's been banned since 1993, I believe, is when minor league baseball said no more chewing tobacco, and I believe they have a fine now where it's $1,000 if you do get caught using chewing tobacco and you get kicked out of the game. But it was still pretty prevalent. I was actually very surprised to see how many players, my friends, that would be using dipping tobacco, chewing tobacco on a day-to-day basis. The umpires, might even, I would see a couple of them who had it in themselves. So it wasn't exactly like it was a shunned thing.
It's kind of like frowned upon more than anything else.
During the last year, Pat and Matt introduced their products to various baseball clubhouses in both the major and minor leagues, and grinds began to develop a following. One giant fan, San Francisco's own skipper, Bruce Bochy.
Actually, Mike Ruocco told me about this new product they make. These guys came up with who are from Cal Poly, where my son went to school, and so I said I'd love to try it. He brought me a couple of cans, and it's caffeine versus nicotine, and actually helped me get off it.
Of course, when we heard back from Mike Ruocco, he wants some more cans, we're like, give him a case of 24, and spread it around. So that's kind of how the ball got rolling. And it wasn't even until, that was in the middle of the summer, kind of the middle of the season. It wasn't until after the season that we even heard back from Bruce Bochy about.
He was a little busy.
Yeah, a little busy.
In the World Series and whatnot.
Pat and Matt have high hopes for the future of their company and hope that their healthy alternative to chewing tobacco will become a new part of baseball fabric.
If you dip or chew and you're looking for, a way to get off it, but also something that you enjoy doing, it's not as dangerous, no question. I recommend it because it helped me get off the nicotine.
Even if you don't like chewing, if you drink coffee or energy drinks, it's something that we hope we put in the locker room, and guys that don't chew might see it and say, hey, this is still pretty cool. I don't dip, but this is something I can kind of use, fits in the back pocket, fits the culture of the game, and we can kind of expand outside of just people, trying to stop using tobacco into others who just, want a little energy kick or like to taste the coffee.